Sam Eman getting rather a good feed of a cut as his first basket. This ball game now reads 11-9 in favor of the Aces.
One thing that Barangay Ginebra has been doing really well is they've been moving the ball very well. And that's why they've been winning a lot of basketball games.
They've learned how to appreciate each other's skills. You know, when they were starting out, they had a variety of personnel coming in, and the issue, of course, inevitably had to be playing time. We will get more minutes. Now they've come to terms with that, and they settle down, they finish in third place.
And Seb, I'd like to break it down a little bit more. Aside from the playing time, sino may hawak ng bola? Nasa loob. So, sharing the ball just goes to show you that, you know what, these guys have matured and they've realized, okay, if we share the ball, if we share the minutes, we will win ball games, plus our careers will extend.
Tapos yung fact na, do you trust the person you pass the ball to? I said, no. You know, when we pass it to Miko, we don't trust it.
You'd rather not look. Huwag mo na lang tignan.
That's you, Miko is mad.
No, we're always on opposing teams, so hindi ko talaga siya tinitignan.
Five quarters yung ginawa niya. Nice rejection by Eman on the shot of Kajiwa.
Great help defense by Sam Eman. And you know, the biggest mismatch for all the teams is when Joe Devance plays the 3 position.
Exactly.
Very hard to match up against him.
Good line. And Baguio is up to a fiery start. Already with 8. How many points does Alaska have? 16.
Half of the scoring output of Alaska for Cyrus Baguio. When you're talking about Joe Devance, you know what? I just realized, Seb, that Joe Devance is like the new age Danny Siegel. Before, Danny Siegel was the biggest mismatch for teams, and now Joe Devance does the same thing because he can shoot from the outside, he can post up, he can dribble to the basket, and that's why Joe Devance is so valuable for the Alaska Aces.
Miller's attempt does not work. Villanueva picks up the trash, can't turn it into goal, and Eman collects everything. Both teams running down. Eman has to chase everybody and catch up. Tenorio pops. No, he passes up to Eman on the last one. Eman did not have his eye on the ball. Here's the spark. Down the middle. Oh, look at that angle to work with.
And that's what the crowd loves so much when they see Mark Kajiwa finishing the break. You know, even if Cyrus Baguio scored in that time for his 10th point, all 5 guys of the Barangay Ginebra team were actually down on defense.
Yes. In the meantime, the defensive alertness of Alaska bothered, and Pinton will have probably a bone to pick here.
Coach Simco always working the referees, trying to get them to see things that he was seeing.
Feeling niya may hawit. In the meantime, while everybody was worrying about that play, Baguio said goodbye.
1-on-5 ang ginawa ng Cyrus Baguio.
And Villanueva takes care of that first free throw. 18-14 is our current score. Villanueva, 2 for 2. Trying to be a little more efficient in the free throw line. One of these Achilles heels in his game in college, working on those free throws. Now seems to be a little more relaxed. Oh, look at this!
I remember when Enrico Villanueva was actually trying to bank his free throws off the board for a time.
That seems to never really work, except for those who are really accustomed to it. From childhood,
Oo. Mahirap matutunan yung mga ganon.
Yes. I was trying to use some touch rather than parang golf yan. At pwede hataw.
The more mo ihataw, mas may problema.
Mas galit ang kadi sa'yo. Dami siya eh. Ano ginagawa mo?
Pero natutuwa yung mga sumisisid para sa mga bola.
Yes, of course. We should be. In the meantime, Aquino picks up that rebound. Our game's first quarter. Vicente dito, pag mabilis masyado, minsan nag-overtime eh. 5:35. We in fact have a team of producers who are the experts in overtime. We shoot them away. Go home. Tama na kayo. 2 laro na kayo.
Meron talagang malapit sa overtime.
Meron. There was a time. Ako, grabe ako. Meron ako 5. Yung director natin, dito na lang bumalik. Okay. Let's slide into our first real timeout. And this game will be back wherever you are after this.
important for us to get these back-to-back games. Beating San Miguel was a confidence booster. It's always really important to have momentum going into the playoffs. If you have momentum, then basically you're confident, and confidence goes a long ways in the playoffs. You certainly don't want to go in on a sour note, because then you're questioning yourself, you're questioning your system, you're questioning each other, and that has a tendency to show up, especially against a quality team in the playoffs.
Well, I like what Tim Bowen said there. You know, coming into the playoffs, coming into an important basketball game, you can't question yourself. You need to trust your system, you need to trust your boys, you need to trust everything about your team. And that's what he was talking about. Beating San Miguel and winning their last 2 games was a tremendous boost for the Alaska Aces coming into the playoffs.
Correct. Both these teams figuring against each other in the playoffs for the 3rd straight conference. And both teams are meeting in a best-of-3 series for the very first time. Glad you're with us, and you're joining, of course, our friends, Chief Inspector Kevin Bulayuman and Mr. Jojo Plantado, Ginebra fanatics, at medyo kanina pa sila nag-aantay for their game. Sabi siya, pinauwi na namin yung producer na yun.
Yung tanong nga sa atin kung halftime na, di ba?
Oo, tanong sa atin halftime. Wow, look at that. You know, I like cover Tony De La Cruz when he plays. He's just a picture of efficiency. He's used to this now new role coming off the bench, and he provides such a boost to the Alaska game.
Well, I really like watching players who can actually dominate the basketball game without having the basketball or needing the basketball to start with them, and that's Tony De La Cruz.
Everybody's shooting so well in this first quarter of play.
We'll get an updated field goal percentage for both teams later on.
That'll work.
That was a tough shot by LA Tenorio, extending their lead to 9 points.
You know, if you're a top defensive team, okay, Mika has a smile. Let's send it to Mika.
Thanks, Sev. Well, Tony De La Cruz talked about how much more of a disciplined team they have to be this time around. Any mistake, they battle the crowd. He specifically talked about Willie Miller and Mark Kagiwa. He said, Willie knows our style too well, and he knows exactly what Coach Tim is thinking. Now, on Mark, he remembers playing with him in Filipino leagues in the States, and he was explosive ever since. He plans to stay in front to get above this guy. Now, Tony also talked about a book called Zen Golf. It talks about how to relax your mind when you play sports, and he browsed through this before the game. Sev, Dominic?
The standard reading for those who want to play golf. Huh? Those games are a mess right now.
Ako may 10-second rule lang ako. After a bad shot, 10 seconds ka lang. You can only feel bad about it for 10 seconds.
But that's a good time by Jung Ichigo. You know, if you're a top defensive team and you're allowing LA Tenorio to frolic inside, you're not a good defensive team.
Well, those were tough shots by LA Tenorio, but Coach Jong Ichigo already noticing that his team needs to tighten up even more on defense to stop those shots.
Too big to multiple defenders. Eman with his second block. The big man is a valuable asset here in this first quarter play.
That zone defense by the Alaska Aces working tremendously for them. The Gypsies having a hard time finding the hole.
De La Cruz can't get it to stay down, and Tubit cleans it up. Again, earlier today, we had Bime Verbiers winning in double overtime over Meralco 106-97, gaining a first game advantage in that best of 3. Here's Porchet.
And Seven, at the top of the coverage, you were talking about how Barangay Ginebra moves the ball so well. That time, against the zone defense, they moved the ball from one side to the other and then moved it again back to the wide open Mike Cortez for the 3-point shot.
And trying to pivot his way out of trouble. Hatfield on his arm. Hatfield ends up with his first personal. Sam Eman will go out to some applause, no doubt. Waki Trillo, team manager, leading the applause. And already Mark Corporal's on the floor. That will not work from the outside. The first quarter coming down to 2:36. Even less than that. Tubit whirling, wheeling and dealing. 2 in a row by Mike Cortez.
From the same spot, Mike Cortez, back-to-back trays, and again, it's movement of the ball early on when they weren't successful against the defense or the zone defense of the Alaska Aces, they were just trying to beat it one-on-one. Now they're moving the ball from one side to the other, and you will definitely get an open shot when you do that.
And the lead has been cut down to 3 from a high of 9. Corner flip. Yes.
And you just know that the Alaska Aces, they know their proper spots. They know where to get you the ball. And they know your strengths. And that's why Tony De La Cruz usually gets 12-footers by the corner.
De La Cruz with 4 points, averaging 9 per ball game. Corporan is whistled for that foul, his first. And we're at a 14-second shot clock. Open flip. It circles out. Devan snapping it safely to a teammate. Here comes Tenorio. De La Cruz. Corporan corner shot. Yes, it's a 3.
No hesitation for Mark Borboran. Usually, he just got in the ballgame. Usually when he gets in, he doesn't actually take the shot right away. But that time, has a lot of confidence and took that 3-point shot.
Tingnan yung energy ng coaching staff ng Alaska. And you can see that at the top of your screen. They're really coaching hard. They like to make the playoffs. Okay, we finished 6th. We're done with that. We're not the playoffs. This is our familiar territory.
Wala na, tapon na yung record na yun. Now that you're in the playoffs, and you don't worry about that anymore. Coach Tim Cone, of course, the master of playing and coaching playoff basketball.
Nice steal. Take away. L.A. Tenorio, pag nagpunta ng Christmas party, mag-take home pa yan.
Tenorio, just his career has just blossomed in the past year here with the Alaska Aces. You know, one thing that Coach Tim Cone does for his point guards is he makes sure that there's just one point guard and you know you're the man. You look at Johnny Albarrientos when he was there. He was
for the years.
You look at Mike Cortez when he was there. And now L.A. Tenorio. The next guy who will sub the #1 point guard doesn't even come close.
Cortez has started well already with this. Johnny Barrientos in the middle of your screens. And Cortez already with an 8-point game. A good start as well.
They're going to need a lot of scoring from Cortez. Well, we know that Mike Cortez can score. He was one of the top 3 scorers before for the Alaska Aces, and even when he transferred to the Beermen, you know that he can score.
Corporan tried to repeat himself, but that didn't work that time. 45 seconds remaining. Here's Miller. Zips it over to the other side. Cortez, Miller. Good ball movement by the Barangay. He never came.
And it just makes basketball so easy and so simple. When you move it so well and efficiently, you get open shots and it's easy.
Tim Cone is, I don't think they should put patty marks anymore for these guys. Look at John Mutigo. Look at Tim Cone. And I don't know why they give them chairs too.
Hindi naman sila umuupo.
Ginagamit. But Tim Cone already on his team. They were beaten by several clean and clear passes in that last sequence.
Tim Cone, always that intense look.
They're trying to sort out something here. Referee Herrera, referee Barbacena, referee Mauricio. Why is there a free throw?
Looks like there's
Okay.
I'm trying to get a replay on that. So the shot of Joe Devance is a 3-point shot. And then there's a loose ball foul on Mike Cortez. This is the 3-point shot of Joe Devance.
And something happened underneath. Yep.
Cortez pushes off Tony De La Cruz.
It happened simultaneously.
So he just had one free throw. So 4-point swing for the Alaska Aces.
It's an air ball tossed up that time by the Campo.